Every relationship hides a story, and every story carries pain. Welcome to Cheating Stories Insights, where truth bleeds through words. Her message came in at 8:47 p.m. A simple text: "I'll be working overnight with my boss Joe tonight, don't wait up." I stared at the screen longer than I should have. The words looked ordinary, but something in the phrasing wasn't. She never used his name, not like that, not with that deliberate dash, that careful distance that pretends to sound casual. I typed back, "Thanks for letting me know." Then I set the phone down face up on the table and waited. Nothing else came, not an emoji, not a follow-up, just silence. Thick, artificial. I looked around the living room, the house she decorated like a performance. Photos of us smiling, the right amount of warmth on display for visitors. But tonight, every frame felt like a prop in someone else's story. The refrigerator hummed, the clock ticked, and the part of me that still believed in her began to rot quietly inside my chest. I didn't confront her, not that night. I didn't rage or accuse or text her again. I just watched. Because that's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't need to scream. It whispers. It leaves traces where care used to live. I replayed the week, the late meetings, the faint cologne that wasn't mine, the way she'd started locking her phone, smiling at it like it knew something I didn't. It was all small, quiet rot, invisible until it consumed the foundation. At 1:14 a.m., I drove past her office. The parking lot was mostly empty, except for one car. His. I recognized it from the Christmas party, the silver sedan she said was just her boss's. The lights inside the building were off, the curtains drawn. I didn't go in, didn't need to. The truth had already started writing itself. All I had to do was read. Over the next few days, I gathered the evidence quietly. Deleted messages retrieved from cloud backups, receipts from a hotel she'd never been to, a voicemail, her voice soft, whispering, not for me. I didn't feel angry, not anymore. Anger is loud, it burns out. What I felt was colder, like holding ice too long until it numbs you. At dinner, she smiled, asked about my day, brushed her hand against mine as if nothing had shifted. And I smiled back, because performance was something we both knew how to do. At night, I lay beside her and listened to her breathing, measured, peaceful, the sound of someone who believed they were still safe. The next day she mentioned another late meeting. Same name, same lie. That was all I needed. I planned it with precision. No shouting, no tears, just method. When she left that evening, hair perfectly done, perfume heavy, smile rehearsed, I began packing. Every dress, every shoe, every trace of the woman she pretended to be. I folded each item neatly, like evidence in a case file. 3 boxes in total, each one a silent testimony. I drove them to his office. The night air was still, almost reverent. The parking lot empty. I left the boxes by the glass doors, stacked clean, her name written across the top. Then I texted him, "You forgot something." No explanation, no signature. I drove home, poured myself a drink, and waited for the fallout. Her call came at 4:03 a.m. The sound of panic can be beautiful in its honesty. "Where are my clothes? Why are they at Joe's office? What did you do?" Her voice cracked, half fear, half guilt. I let her speak, let the silence on my end grow unbearable. Finally, I said, "Thanks for letting me know." Then I hung up. She called again, 10 times, each one unanswered. I sat in the dark, watching the phone light up, her name flashing like a dying signal from a place I'd already left. When she finally stopped calling, I opened a new message thread and typed something I'd never sent before. To myself, "You're free." And for the first time in months, I almost believed it. Morning came quietly. I found her sitting on the porch, eyes swollen, makeup smeared. The confident woman who used to glide through rooms now looked small, She tried to speak, something about misunderstanding, stress, temptation, words that might have worked on a weaker version of me. I let her talk. Every lie was just air leaving a punctured mask. Then I said, calm and even, "You didn't lose me tonight. You just showed me who you were all along." Her face twisted, confusion, shame, realization, all at once. She asked if I could forgive her. I didn't answer. I simply handed her the spare key and said, "You'll need this for your new place." Then I walked back inside and closed the door behind me. The house is quieter now. Too quiet, maybe. But silence is a kind of truth, too. It doesn't lie to fill the air. Sometimes I still see her toothbrush in the bathroom drawer. I don't throw it away. It reminds me what blindness costs. People think revenge is satisfaction. It isn't. It's clarity. It's standing in the wreckage and realizing you're finally outside the illusion. She taught me that love isn't sacred when it's one-sided. It's a contract, and once broken, it dissolves into its real form, a transaction of control and trust. I stopped waiting for her apologies, stopped rehearsing what I'd say if she called again, because the truth doesn't need to explain itself, it just needs to be seen. And now, it has been.